This is different. You have to think. So for problem number 1 from the homework, we are given f of x is equal to 1 over x. And we're asked to evaluate f prime at a equals 2. And they give us a very specific way to do it. They want us to evaluate f prime of a by taking the limit of f of a plus h minus f of a all over h as h approaches 0. Right? So now the example, we haven't done an example problem like this in this section, but we did this in chapter 2. What do I do?
Put in f of x into...
Alright, so we're going to say f prime of a is equal to the limit of this stuff as h approaches 0. Well, what is f of a plus h?
1 over a plus
1 over a plus h, right? Minus f of a, which would just be 1 over a. Yeah, you're getting a little ahead of me, but yeah. Now, we said that a equals 2. Now, we can wait till the end to plug in the 2, or we can plug in the 2 now if you want to. Truthfully, it doesn't make it easier or harder if we plug it in now or later.
Let's do now. Go low. Why waste time?
Well, now here's the thing. I've got to pull an h out of the numerator so I can cancel with the denominator, right? We know that, right? So the problem is, if you were to guess, what do you think I need to do? Just think, just what would make this problem easier?
Put an H over there.
Look at these two fractions. What would make that thing easier?
If they weren't fractions. If the h wasn't there?
Put the H in the other one.
Oh, I know. If they were the
Multiply
same.
them by the
Okay, so here are the suggestions, all right? And we'll vote as a class. This is what's frustrating, I think, to you guys, is that you're not used to not knowing what you're supposed to do. That's why Mr. Adams talks about algorithms and a recipe. There isn't a recipe to get the answer to this. But here are your suggestions. One suggestion was the fractions are a problem, all right? We need to get rid of the fractions, all right? And then as we probed a little deeper, somebody said maybe we should have a common denominator, right? So now, of those two, what do you think we should do? I know you do, but just wait a second. Let's ask the class. What do you think we should do? If we had to choose, what would be your next step? Just guessing.
I would multiply it by h to get rid of the h on the bottom.
You'll multiply everything by h?
Yes.
I multiply it by a over a plus h over 1.
I was trying to split the fractions.
Okay, so you guys are all thinking the right things. The problem is that we have fractions over something, and we know that we're probably going to have to do something with the fractions. You guys said the answer, but you just got to explore it and try it. We need to take these two fractions and make them one by having a common denominator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply all this stuff by a, and then over here I'm going to multiply it by a plus h. And that gives me a common denominator. Now, the problem with this problem is it's fractions. It's not easy. We can't just factor something out. But if I find a common denominator, I'm left with a minus h, right? If I take this negative 1 and distribute it through the top, all over a times a plus h, all over h. So now I have one fraction on the top. And I guess really if I wanted to think about it, I have one fraction on the bottom. So everything that you guys said, somebody said I'd multiply everything by 1 over h. Well, we will. Somebody said that we need to get rid of the fractions. Well, we kind of are. Somebody said find a common denominator. We did. See, I can't, this only works in this one particular problem.
Wait, why is it h over 1?
Well, you'll see why in a second. Let's clean up the numerator, okay? So if I clean up the numerator, a minus a is just that. So now I've got negative h all over a times the quantity a plus h, right? That's the numerator.
Is it negative h?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you did a -1.
Oh, yeah. Now, I'm supposed to divide that by h over 1. But when you divide by a fraction, what do you really do? Multiply by the reciprocal. Now, what happens to this h? Because this whole thing is messed up because of this h. Because when I go to plug the 0 in here, it's undefined. But now, that h cancels with this h and reduces down to 1 over 1. So now I'm going to take the limit of this as h approaches 0 of -1 times 1, which is -1 on top, all over a times a plus h. Well, if I plug in 0 for h, I get a times a plus 0, which is -1 over a squared.
Oh, then
Oh,
you.
then you plug in 2.
Wait,
I totally
Mr.
lost.
Adams, where did you get the -1 on top before?
I lost weight.
Okay, this is a minus
No,
a.
not that, no, the next step.
It's minus h divided by h.
Oh, okay,
What canceled with this negative sign? Nothing.
okay.
I can't just throw it away.
I thought we were multiplying across.
Well, we are. What's negative? This is -1 times 1, which is -1.
Never mind, I get it.
Wait,
No, ask questions, guys. This is important.